That was awkward. Hi, RW. That was very strange because I wasn't live, or I didn't think I was live, and you said hi before that. So maybe you saw me taking all these screenshots for the stream. I don't know, but I'm happy that people are here. Let me check something. Hi, Emmanuel. Thanks for joining me. And hi, Michael. This is, again, I'm sorry. I never warn you about these live events. This is kind of last minute again. But it seems that this has been kind of a recurring thing in the last few, the last few days. Hi, Dan. Hi, Kyle. And I see. I can't quit YouTube. I can't stop. I just can't stop. But even though I need to take a break from editing the videos, but the live thing is just so easy. That's awesome. Thank you for joining me, everyone. Really appreciate this. Seems like Saturday is a good time. Sloane's in bed, my daughter, taking a nap, and Wes, my son, and my wife are gone running errands. So I thought I'd make this quick video. I wanted to shoot an actual video and edit it, and man, those take so long, and my life has been really great, but very busy lately. With the kids, with the business, work, and yeah, just very, very busy, and I found myself having to cut corners a little bit, and I really don't want to do that. So that's why I think this live thing is going to carry me through this valley a little bit. There is a reason why I'm doing this, though. And Nightfly, hi, thanks for joining. There's a reason because I need some feedback, and I thought we'd just talk a little bit. And I don't have I don't have the answer, so I'd love to hear your feedback on something. Let me go back to the chat here so and make sure that I don't miss anything. The Velcro is just to mute the strings. It's a string dampener. It's great. Some people might say that it's cheating, but I think it's so useful. And my philosophy has always been that whatever serves the music is the overall goal. And if you need this to make things sound better, I don't have any problems with that. Okay, the reason I'm doing this is because I'd love your feedback on practicing. Bonjour, George. Hi, George. Thank you for joining. Here's the deal. A friend of mine and myself are working on a project for guitar players, basically trying to solve one of my problems and hopefully other people's problems. And we're in the early stages of doing this. That's why I can't really talk much about it because it's not really tangible. Right now it's more a research thing. But the problem came with my own frustration with my own technique. And so I have phases like that where I get back into guitar technique, trying to improve it. But it has not been the big, it hasn't been really big on my agenda in the last few years because of, well, everything that I mentioned, kids and all that. So my question is, first, I'm talking about purely technique practice. I'm not talking about improvisation practice or writing songs or not that kind of thing, but really the mechanics of playing, being more proficient on your instrument so that you can express whatever idea you have, not technique for technique. But my question is, how do you practice your technique? And I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, your comments. I don't have the answer again, but I'm just kind of searching. And do you learn songs? Do you learn licks? Do you make exercises? I don't know. I've tried multiple things, but I'd love to know what you think about that. How do you practice? What do you use to practice? What would you love to practice? What is the biggest issue when you want to practice. And again, talking about technique here, focused practice, not the practice in front of the TV, but really focused practice. A lot of sequences, type of, that kind of thing, mechanical type of playing. Not because it's the end-all must-have, but because it will allow you probably to play anything that's in your mind. So that's my question for you guys. Ooh, the chat's going fast. Ooh, how am I going to do this? And I'm watching this on a little iPad. Uh-oh. Let me see if I missed anything. So Lorenzo has a good thought here, trying to learn unusual sounding songs right now. And this chat thing is a pain because it disappears after a while. Let me do this double type of thing. Where I'm streaming from my iPad, but I'm also going to open this page on my phone so that I can see what you guys are typing. So let me know what you're thinking when you're practicing. What do you practice? And all that stuff. As far as strings, someone asked me about strings. I use 942s. And where is that box? Clear Tones. I've got a box somewhere. Clear Tones is what I've been using for the last 2 years exclusively, and I really like them. They're coated strings. They last longer. They sound great, and they don't feel like coated strings. Some coated strings kind of have a residue. I really like them. And so Dan has the suggestion to share a document online, and yes, absolutely. There will be a survey that I'll send out, but for now, just thought I'd have a conversation with people. Okay, so I'm sorry. I'm going on this page. That way I can see the chat. Hopefully, yes, I can. That's going to be, okay, I got it. This is you guys. You can't see the text below, but okay, so now I can, it'll be easier. Okay. Rael, so I answered before. Maybe I answered you. I can't remember. I'm sorry. This is to mute the strings so that it's dampened because I've been working on some different... I'm trying to get my chops back up, hence kind of my question. And this allows me to mute the strings, and especially in recording, it's just easier. So yeah. It probably sounds really bad on... I'm using my Axe-FX 2 through some Adam A7Xs. It sounds really good here. But then I'm recording everything through the iPad mic. This sound probably sucks, but... All right, let's take some questions. And still think about this practice thing. I'll actually go back in the chat and read all the comments. But if you just joined in, I'd love to know what you're practicing, because that'll help me too. Okay, let me go back a little bit, see if I missed anything. So, some good input there. Practicing scales and coordination is a big one. George, you're right. And Chris, that was my problem. Chris says that the biggest problem is to develop a good focused practice plan and schedule. That's me right there. And planning is really the key word there. Planning ahead, but it's not always easy. And Erickson, buddy, hi, good to see you. Practice using metronome, that's a very good point, definitely, absolutely. And Darrow asks how I write a song. I think there's multiple answers, but for me, the way I write is to not have, I tend not to write on the instrument directly. I used to, but I found that if I did that, then my songs would be only as good as my knowledge of the instrument. Whereas if I write by taking a walk and listening, in my mind and composing in my head, and then trying to find a way to reproduce that on the instrument. Those are, for me, the most satisfying songs that I wrote. Evolving Seeds of Glory has been the best example of that, because all the songs of Evolving Seeds have been written using that, not on an instrument. So that's what I would suggest. That's how I do it, but Zoo is asking to show my gig. I'm not sure what you mean, Zoo. What do you mean by a gig? What's that? Just kind of skipping through here. Okay, a question that's coming back here. How to practice over chord changes. That's a big topic. Got a few videos on my channel that I would suggest. Look for modulation. But here's what I would suggest for that. It's a very scholar approach, mental approach, but it really helps later on the soulful approach, the inner ear approach. But basically, when you're playing over a chord progression, in essence, all that there is extracting from all the chords that you're playing over the single notes, and then reorganize these single notes in alphabetical order. That'll give you your scale. For example, we've got, let's take something simple. We've got an A minor chord. I'm going to remove this. Don't need it for this. An A minor chord. And then an E minor, for example. Just two chords that go on and on and on. If I extract all these notes one by one, in A minor, I've got... I'm going to use my notepad on the phone. Sorry, I'm not being rude. I'm just going to write down. This is the method to improvise over different chord progressions. So I've got an A minor, an E minor, going on and on and on. I extract all the notes from A minor in order. I've got A, so I'm going to write A, E, another A, so I don't need to write it. I already wrote that down. A C, and an E. I already have that. So I have A, E, C. Okay. And then an E minor, I've got E, B, E again, so I don't need to write that, G, B, and E. Okay, so I've got my two chords, right? Now I reorganize those in alphabetical order. I will have A. Do I have a B? Yes. That is found in the E chord. I have a C. I don't have a D, so that's blank. No D. I have an E. I don't have an F, so that's blank too. And I have a G. So what I did here, I extracted all the notes from all the chords in my little progression. I'm making it very, very simple, but you can do that for more complex things. So if I extract all the notes of A minor, I have A, E, C. All the notes of E minor, I have E, B, G. Now, reorganize these in alphabetical order. I have a scale that is A, B, C. There's no D. E, no F, and G. Well, no D, no F. I get to pick. Do I want a D natural? Do I want a D sharp? A D flat? I get to pick. So that's basically, in essence, that's harmony there. And the more chords you have, the less opportunity you'll have to fill in the blanks. If you do that work and you extract all the notes from each chord individually, and you find that at some point you have two notes with different what's the word that I'm looking for? Oh no, my brain is going blank. If you have an A and an A sharp, for example, that's a sign that there's a modulation. Then you'll have two scales, one with A, one with A sharp, and that's basically how you do it. And the more you do that on paper, the more it'll be easier to get into that when you're just playing. You just hear it. Yesterday, I just filmed a video I need to edit on playing automatically on a chord progression and figuring out your scale without having to overthink it. So if you let's find a backing track here. I don't know the key or anything, but let's see. All right, we'll play this. I don't know the key. Hopefully you'll be able to hear. Okay. I know that 7 notes are possible on this, and there are 12 possible notes in Western music. So I have more chances of hitting the right note than the wrong. So let's take a chance. Yes. Okay, that's good. Most of the notes that you hit are going to be right, the first note that you play, because 7 over 12 notes are correct. That's more than 50%. Now, if you know your modes, and considering that we're in Western music, Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, Locrian, and if we look at the intervals of these modes, we'll see that the perfect fourth and the perfect fifth come 6 times out of 7. That means that if I have a note that works, there's a very good chance that a perfect fourth will work in a perfect fifth. Let's try that. Yes, so that's already 3 notes without even knowing the key. And then your ear does the rest. It's kind of like singing internally. Da, da, da. You just sing and then it just comes out. I still don't know the key, but my ear is guiding me now at this point. And eventually I recognize some sequence. It's building up. It's getting a little loud. The mix is probably not very good, but so it's the approach, or my approach is a lot more internal approach, singing like a singer would, and then learning how to make sounds. Like when I'm talking to you, I don't have to think about how do I make the sound, because I want to say this is okay. So. Kind of put my tongue here, put a little bit of air. That's a lot of things to think about, but now I don't have to think about them. I just know that, okay, this is how I say this sentence by placing my muscles this way and all that. It's exactly the same with your guitar, I think. The only difference is that it doesn't involve your mouth, unless you play like this. But it involves your fingers. But it's the information, the source of the information just travels different ways. Instead of traveling through your mind and then through the vocal cords and out, the tongue needs to do its thing and all that, well, it travels a different path. The fingers and all that, and you listen, and then it comes out. That's the goal. It doesn't always come out like that, but that's the ultimate goal. For me, that's where music joy comes. Having control over what you want to sound. That was a very bad example. That was, I don't know what that was. But the cool thing with that is that if you target your guitar study towards delivering what you hear inside through your fingers, then your compositions and your improvisations and all that are no longer limited by your knowledge of the scales and all that. They're only limited by your imagination, and that's kind of limitless. And feeding your imagination is really fun. Go watch a movie, read a book, go on a walk, life experiences. So that's what I really love about music. Really like it. Mark, thank you for asking. I guess I'll make a little bit of promo. Let me show you. I'll be right back. Show you what I have. I'm missing a bunch. This is all I have here. This is the very first one. I'm not super proud of the production, but that's the first one, Deep Inside the Mind. It was released in 2006, but it was recorded when I was 23, and I'm a few months short of 40. But that's going to be re-released in a new way soon, Deep Inside the Mind. The last one is this one, Evolving Seeds of Glory, instrumental, all instrumental, progressive rock. This, I still have one of these, but this is getting kind of rare. It's a compilation, progressive rock, and I got a couple songs on there. Neil Morse is on there too. He's my idol. Love Neil Morse. Got a DVD. It was with my previous band, Glass Hammer. This is a live album, or DVD. All those items are on my website, davidwallimann.com. But that's all I have here, but there's more floating around. For those who just joined me, thank you again. And I'm Jacob, thank you so much thank you very much. I'm gathering some thoughts on practice, technical practice. How do you get better? What do you work on? And again, I'm not talking about phrasing or anything like that. I'm talking about purely technique so that you can express yourself better. Because I'm working on trying to solve, my issue is like focus practice. What do I practice? With a friend, and we're gathering some thoughts on this, but that's kind of what's going on. Chris, thank you very much for the compliment. Let's see. When I used to practice, not because I'm too good to practice. No, not at all. Just time with family. But back when I was really having a lot of time, I would plan out my schedules, and there's no wrong way to approach it, but really write it down. And I would write down, like, if I knew that I had an hour of practice the next day, I would write down all the exercises that I would do, the tempos and all those things, and the times. So I would do 10 minutes of 16th triplets on these with a metronome, and then move on to the next one. And at the end of my session, at the end of the hour-long session, I would plan the next day's session. Really important to do that, because you don't want to get to your time of practice and what do I have to practice? What do I practice? What do I do? No, you just take out your notebook or whatever, and you see exactly. And the advantage too is that if you prepare your next practice session right after having had a practice session, then you'll know exactly what you struggled with, because it's going to be fresh, and you basically almost, the next day's practice is almost the same as before, except that you adjust things. So if you found that, man, I was doing this exercise and I would always miss that string. So you ask yourself why. Maybe it's the direction of the pick, and so you're going to make a new exercise that targets that specific thing, and so forth. And but planning ahead is most of the thing, and then knowing exactly how much time you have and no distractions. That's really important. Okay, let me go back to my phone here. We got some more questions coming in. Thank you for hanging out with me. I really appreciate this. This is great. Oh, wow, that's going fast. I'm overwhelmed. Thank you for the nice comments, really. George, thank you. So Michael is asking, what scale shapes do I lean towards when jamming? Dominant modes. So what's your favorite dominant mode? It's heavily influenced by the style of music, and I don't know that I have one in particular. I really like the Lydian dominant. So for those of you who don't know what dominant means, dominant only means that you have a major third and a minor seventh at the same time. So in order to be dominant, a musical element, whether it's a chord, a scale, needs to have those two things at the same time, a major third and a minor seventh. Anything else can be anything you want. And so a Lydian dominant is basically a Lydian mode. So the Lydian mode's formula is root, major second, major third, augmented fourth, perfect fifth, major seventh, major sixth, major seventh. In order to be Lydian dominant, you need a major third and a minor seventh. So Lydian has a major seventh, just make that minor seventh, and that's your Lydian dominant mode. So I really like that. I have this pack that you go back to all the time from guitarplayback.com. It's called the one chord backing track pack. So you have dominant seventh chords, minor seventh, major seventh, diminished chords, minor seven flat five chords, major seven sharp five chords, minor major seven chords, and 5 backing tracks for each chord. And those really allow me to work on some of these concepts. So if we try the G7, G dominant 7, I could play all those dominant modes in there. Let's give that a try. I'll try Lydian dominant. Anyways, that would be probably my pick, the Lydian dominant one. But remember, dominant is major third and minor seventh at the same time. George, avoiding the plateau and practicing, I think, man, I'm there too, and I haven't figured it out, but I think taking breaks really help. Nothing's going to happen if you take a couple days off or a week off. You're going to get more inspired, and sometimes that's all it takes, really. Triply, man, why did you buy double neck? No, that's great. That's great. I didn't mean it like that. I don't know, but seriously though, why did you buy it though? Did you buy it because maybe that will answer your question, basically. Okay. Oh, David, yeah, let me show you this. It's super easy and it's so much fun. It's a major triad. So if you're in G, you got root, major third, perfect fifth. So you'll play the root on one string, the major third on the next, and the perfect fifth on the next. And you just repeat that pattern. A tritone higher than where you started it. So if you started on the 6th string, 3rd fret, you repeat it on the 5th string, 4th fret, and then you repeat it on the 4th string, 5th fret. So you got this. Just be careful between the G string and the B string, but so that's what I did, and that's gonna work on a dominant chord too. All right, what else do we have? Exactly, David. Yep. Try to see if I missed anything. Shane, thanks for the suggestion, the Jazzmaster Cookbook. I will check it out. Thank you very much. Mark, that's awesome. You got the neck diagrams and you're a drummer. Nice. I really like that software, neck diagrams, to create your diagrams. Randy asking how to write good chord progressions. I don't know. What makes a good chord progression? I don't know. I feel that for me, what makes a good chord progression is not necessarily the chords, but what is played on top of it. I feel that any chord progression could be made interesting and good if there's a good theme around it. But you can always follow the basic rules of harmony. If good means in the same key, just use your scale and extract from it notes. What I really like, and I think other players do that, is to, instead of seeing chords as this very strict formula where you take a root and then the third and all that, I tend to not bother with that anymore and just see the full scale and then just kind of extract from it random notes that are played on different strings and that'll create a good chord voicing, I think. So what chords were there? Were those? I don't know. But it's just extracted from a common scale, or in this case, multiple scales. But I don't know. Everyone, thank you for all the comments. I'm definitely going to go back and read the chat, what was going on, and see if we can figure out some of the problems in practicing and how to try to resolve them. For me, I think it's creating the space and taking away all the things that prevent you to have a good, efficient practice. And part of it is knowing what to practice, what you need to do. But hopefully we can answer those questions at some point. All right. Someone is asking about the diminished scale. I saw that passing really quick. There are two diminished scales. Barris is asking this. It's very simple. The diminished scale is known as a symmetrical scale because once you know a little bit of the interval formula, it's going to repeat itself. And intervals, so half steps, full steps. A half step is 1 fret. Full step is 2 frets. And the two diminished scales that you have are half whole, half full, half full, half full, half full. Just alternate those. Or full, half full, half full, half full, half. So, for example, if you're in A, one of the diminished scales would be a half step, a full step, a half step, a full step, a half step, a full step. The other one would be the same, but you start with a full step. And a fingering that really works is a 4-note per string, I think, fingering. If you do the half whole, for example, in A, you would have frets 5, 6, 8, 9. And for that I use index, middle, pinky, and a slide. That's not the absolute rule. You can do it different ways. But once you have that pattern, you repeat the same thing on the next string, but 1 fret higher than where you started from. So 5, 6, 8, 9, 6, 7, 9, 10, and so forth. If you want to do the other version, you just start with full step. Okay, so that's those two diminished scales that you have. Okay, let's go back to here, see if I missed anything. Shaleen is asking if singing notes while playing helps ear training. Yeah, definitely. It helped me a ton. Yes, for sure. Especially, and when you're actually working on a scale. So not when you improvise, but when you're actually working on something. So if you're working on the Lydian mode, for example, so you work on the pattern a few times, and so forth. Imagine what the next note would sound like. Ba, ba, and you check ba, ba, If yes, awesome. If no, ba-bum, fix it. Ba-ba-bum, ba-bum, and so forth. That really helps strengthen the relationship between what you hear inside and what you're playing. It's all about that invisible thread where the idea starts and where it travels to get out. But oftentimes, guitar players especially bypass that whole thing. They bypass the source of the idea, they bypass that thread, and they just like let the ideas shoot from their fingers, and then all the music sounds very predictable because the music that they play, or solos or whatever, are influenced by the patterns and the practice that they've done, and they're limiting themselves, I think. But we're all guilty of it. And sometimes it's easy to rely back on those things because it's mentally very challenging to focus on making up themes as you're playing. And I made a video called something about 2 cups, where it's almost like you're pouring one cup into the other. One cup is the technical cup, and as you're playing technically, you don't have to think much about it. As you're doing this, your mental is recharging so that it can play more focused and make up the melodic ideas. I'm playing slower, because that thread has to travel through the thought source, through the fingers, and it's not super, super fast like when I'm talking. It's more fluent, but I'm hoping to get it there. But that's kind of what I recommend. So if you have let's do something on this. Got the backing track. So the focused approach, very mental because you're thinking about melodic lines. And then you play that. It's very, very challenging. And in order to take a break from that, that's where I'll rely on more technical things, where I don't have to think about it too much. And then once I feel recharged mentally, I focus back on the I'm going to take a break. This is more mechanically focused. And I'm going to take back. Does that make sense? Where there's 2 parts of the brain, or 2 parts of your being that are involved. One part is the where it's really generated from the inside. Usually it's going to be a little slower because that thread, invisible thread where the musical thought travels through, is not as super fast. And then when you get back to it and you want to take a break from the focused playing, it becomes a little more mechanical. like that. So that's kind of the idea. Bob, it won't hold. I try to do that, take care of my hair, but it just automatically goes back like this. How hard should you hold the pick? I'm not sure, honestly. I don't know. I think it depends. If you drop it, you're not holding it hard enough, but I don't know. I think it depends. Okay. Anything else? Do I practice on acoustic? I don't. I don't. All right, Max. See you later. I don't have time for this, honestly. I'm done. Okay, did I miss anything? Bob is asking about, I don't have a band, and at this point, I've got kids. Lenny's asking when the next streaming is. I'm not sure. Quinn is asking when the next, or if I sell backing tracks. Yeah, that's how I make a living in courses on guitarplayback.com. That's how I make a living. Then Bob, see you later. Have a good day. And Robin is asking me how I practice for a gig. It depends on the gig, really, but mostly it's just immersion. Just do it over and over and listen to a lot of the music too. And that's how I did it for the Neil Morse gig. Or not gig, sorry, audition. And Saman, thank you very much. Thank you. Really, really appreciate it. Charlene is asking about the action on the guitar. I think it depends on players, on everyone. I like it low because it's easier for me. But and I don't really set up my guitars because I'm not patient enough to do it. But as low as I can without buzzing for me, but that doesn't mean that that's what people should do. Will is asking me if 3 hours or so each day is about normal for trying to get a solid. I would say actually probably more than normal, but it's not about the amount of time that you practice, but it's the quality of the practice. Is it a focused practice where you're really working on the things that you have to work on, or is it more playing in front of the TV for 3 hours? There's a big difference, and that's where the practice schedule is very important, writing down your practice, I think. Any tips on alternate picking using your wrists? Alternate picking is not my strength at all, and I really want to get better, so I've got to do more work on this. Graham is asking about memorizing patterns, having trouble with it. Yes, I definitely can relate. But something that seemed to help me break away from that is to do that thing where you're working on a piece, a lick, scale, or whatever, and anticipating the sound of the next note. And now it's not really pattern-based. If you hear it and you associate with those sounds some movements, then it's kind of automatic. When I'm talking to you, I don't have to think about how to put my tongue and all that to make those noises. It just comes out, and that's the goal, I think, or for me it is. So that's what I would suggest. Yeah. The live thing is weird because sometimes I've got thoughts in my mind that I want to throw out, and I'm like, oh yeah, people are watching me, but I'm gonna throw it anyways. I'm gonna talk a little bit about it. I'm seeing I'm using my iPad and I'm seeing myself talk, and I realize that people just joining here might think that this is very narcissistic of me to do that. It's not. I don't want you guys to think that I think that I'm above anything. I'm really not. I promise. So I feel that the reason I'm bringing this up is that I did a video a while back on self-taught players, and I'm honestly daily getting emails about it. Insults. Because that video is very misunderstood. I made a stupid joke. That video is done when I was in my late 20s. And so I did a response to it saying, hey guys, I was joking. My point was that whether you're self-taught or not, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And people took it out of context. And I did a follow-up video trying to explain it, and then I still got a lot of, daily insults about it. And then I'm wondering, well, maybe, yeah, I probably do come across as, I don't know, arrogant. It's really not what I want at all. I promise. I don't think that I'm it. On the contrary, I admire pretty much anyone I come across. And, anyways, why am I saying that? I don't know. Sometimes I feel that sometimes my brain just throws out ideas without really thinking through it. But I don't know. Like, I've had some comments, and it bothers me that some people might think that. I'm not, at all. Anyways, that's not what I want. So if I have offended anyone, or if I came across as arrogant or whatever, please forgive me, because that's really not where my heart is at. I promise. Okay. Anything else? And thank you, guys. Thanks for understanding this. Laurent, Marseille. Yes. I miss the South. I miss Marseille. I miss Aix-en-Provence. So, okay. Laurent, tu connais Tretz? En fait, je viens de Tretz. Je dis souvent d'Aix-en-Provence, mais je viens de Tretz. I'm from Tretz. T-R-E-T-S. Tiny little village. George is asking about Jazz 3. Yes, I've used Jazz 3 picks before. I didn't like them not because they're bad at all, but because I'm so used to bigger picks. This is what I settled on. I've used V picks for a long time. They're thicker picks, and I like them. Are they the best picks in the world? No. Are they the best picks in the world for me? Yes. But does it mean that everybody needs these? No. These are Dimension V picks. They're a little more expensive, but I really, really like them. I'm just used to them, really. I don't think they're better than others. They just fit me better. Will is asking about the pick slant thing, where am I angling my pick a little bit? Yeah, definitely. And what really helped me is Cracking the Code from Troy. You should definitely check it out if you haven't. And so I tried to implement that. It's incredible. I've got so much respect for Troy and Cracking the Code. It's so good and so entertaining. So yes, if I'm holding my pick, it's kind of at a 45 angle degree, kind of like that. Less resistance. But I'm still working on it. Christophe is asking me why I don't... je la fais en anglais, Christophe, pour tout le monde. Pour que... Yeah. I was going to speak like this so that everybody understands. I'm joking. Christoph is asking me about my Parker. I still have it. I can't get rid of it. It's sentimental. But the thing with the Parker is that I modded it so much. I changed the piezos in there. There's a MIDI pickup in there, and there's tons of stuff. I modded it so much that it's not working very well. But I really like it. That was my first, my first expensive guitar. But I really like that a lot. Okay. What else do we have? Quentin is asking me about favorite bands. It changes all the time. The band that stayed with me forever, that I've always loved, was Dire Straits. But you don't necessarily see that in my music, but I really like them. And Neil Morse, probably. But it changes all the time. Jerry, I live in Colorado. And Renee is asking me about the 7-string S series. I still have it and I still love it. But it takes time to what am I looking for? I'm sorry. This is the second time it's happening during this stream. To blend in, to mend, to establish a comfortable relationship with an instrument. And I always go back to this because the last 3 years of my life have been very, in a way, very difficult, but also in another way, awesome. With kids, and with 2 kids now, 2 young kids. I work from home. My kids are at home. They don't go to school. And so when I work on my instrument, I really have a limited amount of time because I want to be present for my family and my kids and my wife. And so I really try to work on the things that I have to work that bring in the money. And I don't have much... I don't allow myself much time to do the fun things like discover a new instrument, write music, and all that. But that's just temporary, I think. A phase of life. I don't want to miss out on my kids. So, but I still have it, and I've got the wall of guitars here that I really want to spend time with more. Okay. And Will is asking about the practice thing. I'm just getting back to it, trying to dedicate some time and to practice, to getting better, because I've been relying on my own stuff for so long, and I want to get better. Robin is asking about Public Alchemy. Thank you. And Public Alchemy was the band that that we started with with my bandmates, and we released an EP. I think there were 5 tracks. Toby, the drummer, moved out of our city here, and it would take a plane to go visit. And Toby was they all the guys were essential to the band, and when Toby left, we just kind of like disbanded. And plus, with my schedule now with the kids and stuff, I would love to start a new band at some point, but I don't miss it that immensely. For me, music has I never found, how can I say this? I could go the rest of my life without playing for the band and never be heard and writing cool music in my room, and I'd be musically fulfilled. A lot more than if I had to be in a band and the rest of my life and never compose. I don't care that much about playing for the band. I love it, but it's not my favorite thing to do. Same with performance. That's why I don't perform. And when I tell people that I'm a musician, the first question is, how many gigs do you play? Where do you play? Do you play with a band? No, I don't. Do I still make a living? Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. I'm just at home doing it. And you can do it without. But anyways. Rings of Neptune is asking me about the Steve Vai 10-hour workout. Well, so I've got my iPad is on my music stand right now. But look at what is behind this. It's right there. So what do I think about it? Well, I got this for Christmas. It was my Amazon wish list. I wanted to check it out. And I started to check it out. And the second exercise didn't make sense. And I think there's a misprint in the tab of the exercise. And so that, I saw that and was like, well, we'll get back to it another time. I love the idea of that. All right, let's see. What else do we have? Victor! I don't know if, I don't want to make any enemies. I'm not going to answer that. No, honestly, my opinion is completely unfounded. I don't know him. I only see what I see. Asking me about Tom Hess. I don't know him, so I can't really speak about him. Quinn is asking if I like Tosin and Bassi. Yeah, from what I heard, yes, very much. But I don't know enough about Animals as leaders. Just heard a few songs and I really, really liked it, but I never completely dove into the catalog. But what I'm assuming you like Tosin. What would you recommend? What album should I pick up to discover? What's your favorite Animal as Leaders album? Okay, I'll check some of those out for sure. Hamza, I can read you. Hi. Gopesh is asking how many exercises do I recommend? As many as you can. Find the exercise that is too hard for you and work on that one, I think. We're getting short of an hour here. I'll play a little bit more. I don't know what that is. Hey, that's a happy one. That the frame is maybe not as good as I want it to be. I can't lower this anymore. Yeah, I can. I'll do a Locrian thing. Let's see. Hamza, your mom is calling. Your snack's ready. See you later. All right, let's go. G Locrian, we'll see. It's a minor 7 flat 5 chord. Yeah, Locrian is a strange sound, but it can have its use too. Minor 7, flat 5. So you got a diminished fifth. What can you sub in for minor 7? You mean what scales can you use for a minor 7th chord? Okay, everyone, we're getting close to the end of this. We've been over an hour together, which was really fun, so thank you. I want to take advantage of the rest of my daughter's nap to work on a few things. You know, I love the guitar hour. I'm not worthy of it, but I love it. Those guys have done something really, really cool. Thank you for joining me. I don't know what I'm going to call this, but again, all about practice. I want you, if you can, leave me some ideas as to how you can make your practice better, how I can make my practice better. We're on it together, and really appreciate everyone. Thank you for sticking with me through this busy life. So yes, less regular videos, but maybe a little more of these. And thank you for the encouraging thoughts. YouTube has been a little difficult on me lately. Some of the interactions with people, and it's been a little hard. So that's also another reason why I'm not doing many. But you're the reason I'm continuing. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate you all. Have a good weekend. And the backing tracks that I was using were from guitarplayback.com. I'll take more questions next time, and I'll see you next time. Thank you, everyone. Love you guys.